How you doing, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. Rocking out some new intro music so we can go ahead and get our vibes ready to go. I'm Isaac Hayes, the host of the Cajun Conservative Show. I'm glad that you decided to join us here on this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, episode 122, ladies and gentlemen. No, 222. I'm losing track of all the episodes. 222 episodes. It is amazing that we have come this far and that God has allowed me to do what I love to do. Now, I don't do this for a living yet, but that is a dream of mine. And I see things that God is doing to bring that dream alive. And God is just doing great and marvelous things. I just can't wait to see what God continues to do. And a lot of people are happy just with the small things. And my last two pastors that I've had the privilege of sitting under, one I'm sitting under now, and one has gone with the Lord. But you know, they said something to me, growing in the faith. They said we serve a big God, so ask for things big. And I'm not one of these prosperity ministers. I don't believe you name it, you claim it, and all this stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, we serve a big God. So we should go ahead and believe big. Believe God for revival. Believe God for things that are happening in the world today. But, you got to believe God for stuff big. And if you want God to bless you, you need to say, Lord, show me what to do. Help me to be in your will. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just praying and saying, Lord, your will be done. I want to submit unto your will. If I'm submitting unto his will, my dreams are going to be his dream, his plan for me. And we're going to go ahead and go forward in this endeavor. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the show, I do want to thank Give-A-Derm. You know, there's a lot of skincare products out there in the market today, but none like Give-A-Derm. Give-A-Derm is a company that prides itself on making skincare products that will help your skin to stay healthy. Not like other care products that have toxins and chemicals that can hurt your skin. Do you know what goes in your skin is in your bloodstream in 30 seconds? That's because of all the your skin is connected to your body, which is to your muscles and goes to your skincare. So you want to be careful what you put on your body. That's why Give-A-Derm products are made with all natural ingredients to keep your skin healthy. My family has used Give-A-Derm and experienced. My family has used Give-A-Derm products, and we love it because it works. If you would like to try Give-A-Derm and experience this great American great American made product, go into my descriptions in this episode. There you're going to find a link to Give-A-Derm and see what they have to offer you at checkout. Now, if you do go ahead and buy some at checkout, please use BGS Media 10. BGS Media 10 to get 10% off your product. Go ahead and check out Give-A-Derm. Again, the description is in the link. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start off with some news. And I say news, it's we knew this was coming, and I went ahead and recorded the Republican debate last week, and that happened last Wednesday night. I didn't talk about it on the Thursday show because at the time of recording it didn't happen yet, and I'd rather be safe than sorry going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a lot of things that happened in this debate, but it really wasn't all the fireworks that Fox News and I think UVision tried to bring out for people to watch this. First off, Donald Trump was not there. And ladies and gentlemen, it was obvious. Donald Trump right now lights up a room. I've been a strong supporter of Ron DeSantis for a while now, and reading some reports and seeing his performance. And look, I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched about half of it. That's how interested I was in it. But Ron DeSantis, what I've seen and what I've read, did a great performance. Was he the winner of the debate? That is still up for grabs. Ladies and gentlemen, Ramaswamy did not create no fireworks. There wasn't him and Nikki Haley duking it out on the stage. It was more of him trying to unite with these other Republicans. This was just it was not to say it was boring, but like the candidate from North Dakota, the governor, poor dude had to cut in and out. It was really disorganized. There was a lot of people talking over each other. It was what I seen. What was not that great of a. It was not a debate that's going to live in history. It's the like the debate where Ronald Reagan, excuse me, told someone, "I paid for this mic, sir." That is iconic. That's an iconic line. And ladies and gentlemen, that debate is going to live in history. The no new taxes by George Bush. That's a line that's going to live forever. Now, the reason that line lives forever is because he went there and he said, look, no new taxes. Then all of a sudden, George Bush, I think it was Bush 41, went ahead and passed new taxes while he was in his administration. So, but there's a lot of debates that's gonna. I think even one with Kennedy. I think it's Kennedy and Nixon. There's debates that live in history. This one ain't one of them. Nobody is going to remember this debate. Now there is rumors in Florida that Donald Trump possibly will attend that debate. If that happens, whoever is hosting, if it's Fox Business or Fox News, they are going to go ahead and go through the roof with the ratings. Why? Because Donald Trump is there. Donald Trump is holding a commanding lead of over 50%. Everybody else is behind him. Donald Trump. That's why Donald Trump is not going to these debates. At first, I even said, look, Donald Trump should be there to defend his record. But this is what caught me on this debate. Because Chris Christie he ripped Donald Trump for not showing up to the debate, suggested new nickname, Donald Duck. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Christie needs to leave the nicknames to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump, Lion Ted, Crooked Hillary, names that now I don't like. Ron DeSantimonious. I don't think that's right. Ron DeSantis didn't do nothing to Donald Trump. I understand his primaries and stuff. So, but Donald Trump is real good at picking nicknames. Chris Christie isn't one of them. And I was watching this whole thing of Chris Christie saying that Donald Trump should have been there to defend his record. Donald Trump should be there. He's afraid to answer. Donald Trump's administration prior to COVID-19 was seeing some of the greatest victories and some of the greatest we were energy independent under Donald Trump. We had, the economy was booming. There was so much stuff good for Donald Trump, but why Donald Trump should show up to a debate and give his, now like I said, I think he should go. That's my personal opinion. Same thing with Jeff Landry here in the state of Louisiana. Jeff Landry has not shown up but to one debate. Now he has shown up to a debate, so credit to Jeff Landry, but every debate that has happened here in the state of Louisiana has been low ratings, and Jeff Landry has not shown up, so nobody wants to watch it, because Jeff Landry is the heavy favorite going into the governor's race in 2 weeks. But ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump and Jeff Landry. Now, Jeff, if you're listening, I'm comparing you to Donald Trump, so you should be flattered. But Jeff Landry and Donald Trump have a commanding lead over their other opponents. Strategy-wise, they shouldn't show up to say something crazy or it be the punching bag of everybody that is in that debate. Now, like I said, do I think they should show up for people can hear their views? Yes, absolutely. Now, Chris Christie wasn't the only one to blame Donald Trump. My own candidate that I favored, DeSantis, called Trump out. This is from Fox Business. During the debate for not attending, defending record, missing in action. Ladies and gentlemen, they went ahead and look, Donald Trump not being there, they still used the opportunity to attack Donald Trump. Now, there was multiple other candidates that went ahead and tried to separate themselves from Trump, but they really couldn't separate themselves from Trump, because early on in the debate, I caught this, and I even wrote this down watching this in the studio, that it was kind of funny, okay? They were all criticizing Donald Trump for not being there. You had, I think it was 7 candidates on that stage, and there's a number of other candidates. We have interviewed 2 presidential candidates on this podcast. There's several other Republican candidates in this race. And ladies and gentlemen, they all say the same thing. We think Donald Trump should not be the candidate going forward. We could do better. Now, look, like I said, I like Ron DeSantis. I like his demeanor. I like how he answers questions. I love what he has done in the state of Florida. I don't live in Florida, but he has done some good things, and I think he would be a great president. This is why I disagree with Donald Trump on attacking Ron DeSantis, because this could be a potential VP pick and set him up for 2028 if Donald Trump would be privileged to win in 2024. This is why I like Ron DeSantis. I've said this from the beginning. Now, as the election has gone along, the primary season gone along, I'm starting to lean more towards Donald Trump. Nothing against Ron DeSantis. And this is one of the reasons why I'm leaning more towards Donald Trump, is because of what I'm about to say. Ladies and gentlemen, watching that debate, all these candidates, again, saying that Donald Trump is not the right candidate. He shouldn't run. He should stay out of the race and let somebody else go into the Oval Office or be the presidential nominee for the Republican Party. But even Chris Christie was pointing to some things he would do that Donald Trump did in 2016 to 2020 when he was president of the United States. Excuse me. Heard several presidential candidates on that stage talk about a border wall. They were talking about things that Donald Trump would done. Now, and even then, even coming to Mike Pence was there. They brought something out about the Trump-Pence administration. Pence wanted to answer. The moderators did not let him answer. I wish they would have, because they did target Pence's administration, because Pence was part of the Trump administration, and he was going to go ahead and try to defend Donald Trump, but the moderators, of course, didn't buy it. They were like, "Oh, we got to keep time. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it was a dawning thought to me. It was a dawning thought that, wow, hold on. All these people are saying that Donald Trump should not be the president of the United States, but they want to push his policies. Granted, the policies were good. They helped America. But me watching this debate, I started thinking about it. Wait a minute. If they want to push Trump policies into place, shouldn't we just vote Donald Trump in office? Ladies and gentlemen, that was it dawned on me prepping for this episode, and I wanted to talk about this debate, but that was the center point of this whole debate, that Donald Trump did not show up. Okay, Donald Trump did not show up. Everybody bashed Donald Trump, and then all of a sudden, the whole debate, every time they had a question on immigration, on foreign policies, a Trump policy came up, and they were like, "Yes, that was good. We want to implement that again." Why not support the man that originally put that point into place, in that policy into place? Now, we could say it's for power. We could say, and look, I'm glad we have choices in the Republican primary. By the time it comes to Louisiana, I don't know. We might only have like 2 or 3 left in the primary. If it's Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump, right now, I do lean towards Ron DeSantis, but I'm moving more closer to Donald Trump, especially after last night's debate. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump doesn't have to be there, because these people are already going to push his policies, and he can go ahead on stage and say, "Listen, they don't want me president, but they want to use all my policies." And look, I do agree with Lindsey Graham to an extent on this point. He said the Trump policies are not Trump policies without Donald Trump, meaning Donald Trump should be the nominee of the Republican Party. Now, ladies, this goes to a whole nother question, because Daily Wire reported that Trump campaign called on the RNC to cancel all remaining primary debates. Now, this didn't come from Donald Trump. This came from his campaign. I think it was his campaign manager. Let me go ahead and pull up the article. And this goes to a point, though. If they do select Donald Trump, should they just go ahead and cancel the debates? Before I read the article, let me make sure. Former President Donald Trump's presidential campaign called on the Republican National Committee to cancel all the remaining 2024 presidential primary debates and support Trump after the second primary debate on Wednesday. The former president sought to draw attention away from the other candidates by not attending the debate at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi, California. I want to see, it was Chris Savati. It was the Trump campaign manager that said that. Now, look, I disagree with the Trump campaign manager. I think they should have debates. Like I said, I think Donald Trump should at least show up to one. But it's not hurting Donald Trump either. If you go look at the Trump numbers are more stronger than ever. And now they also found him guilty of his company, doing business dealings. I think that's an appeal. We have to see what happens. I don't know the whole details of that, but even with Donald Trump's failures or Donald Trump's problems, he's still ahead. And the whole reason is because they're coming after me. That is Donald Trump's argument. But ladies and gentlemen, but going back to this, should they stop the presidential primary debates? No. I think the Democrat Party should have one. If I'm Robert Kennedy and the other candidate, you ask that no reliable news network would go ahead and host a debate with them two, but they should go ahead and say, hey, look, if the DNC is not going to do it, let us have a debate and let's invite President Joe Biden. If he does not show up, well, guess what? We'll have a debate and we'll criticize Biden. Now, Biden on a lot of polls are leading by 80% of the polling. Do I trust all polls? Same thing with the Republican Party. Do I trust? No, because the New Hampshire is going to be the first primary destination that we're going to see what's going on with these poll numbers. But ladies and gentlemen, they should not stop the debate. At the same time, though, I think people in the Republican Party, especially the candidates that are running, say, listen, I don't think it dawned on them. We want to push Trump policies, but we want to say that the man that originally put the policies is bad. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't. How does that work? Okay, was Donald Trump the perfect president? No. Was Ronald Reagan the perfect president? No. You didn't have Abraham Lincoln was not the perfect president, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to have a perfect president. There's only one perfect, and that is God Almighty, and I don't think he's looking for the job of president when he got the God of the universe under his title. So he's not looking for president. That's the only one that's perfect. But ladies and gentlemen, these presidential debates, these people before they talk about bad about Donald Trump, they need to realize they want to do the same thing Donald Trump does. So like I said, who's the winner, who's the loser of Wednesday night's debate? Nobody moved the needle. It wasn't a drop mic moment. It didn't move the RNC to go ahead and say, listen, we're going to stop the debates or whatnot, which they shouldn't do. Ladies and gentlemen, if all the candidates just step aside, I doubt Chris Christie does, because Chris Christie is anti-Donald Trump, and he thinks everything Donald Trump did was wrong. But ladies and gentlemen, it's like I said, even him, he came out and said a few things about Trump policies that he liked and he would implement if he was president of the United States, like closing the border. So ladies and gentlemen, we would have to see what's going forward. But like I said, this debate did not move any needles for me. It didn't move no needles whatsoever. And we're just going to have to wait and see what's going on in the near future. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take our first break of the evening. So please sit back and wait for the second segment. We'll be right back in a few moments, so stay tuned.
That the four things that I think are most important is to be tough on hardened criminals. The criminal justice system, you got to help out people. And I did this for years and years and years as a prosecutor. Probably 80 to 85% of the people that came through the DA's office and through my prosecution experience, they got help to get back on track. About 15% were just hardened criminals that didn't deserve to be helped. They needed to go somewhere where they could not be a danger to you and I. And so we took care of putting those people in that place. I will fight for victims' rights. I've been a vice president of Crime Fighters, the largest victims group in the state, and dealt with victims all across the state and help them navigate the criminal justice system and soothe their broken and aching hearts from their losses. And so I would continue to do that. I'd promote the early intervention program, and I would always, always, always be pro-life, pro-gun, and pro-Louisiana, and fight for all your constitutional rights. So if you want somebody like me that has a tough on crime background, I think you would be well suited to join our team, and I would be honored to have your vote on October 14th.
This message is authorized by the campaign to elect Marty Maley Attorney General. human soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show. Today got three devices on, if you count the computer that we're recording this on, but got a lot of devices on right now. So before we get into our main topics, I do want to bring this out. A couple of stories that I seen that kind of made me scratch my head. Colin Kaepernick compared the NFL to slavery. Remember with his Netflix series, you say how they have to go ahead and have to show their ability, and they go on a trading block, and you have to hope you get picked. That's kind of remind him of slavery. But now he wants to play for the Jets. In the article, who wrote the article, he said he is nuts, and I agree with him. If you remember, Colin Kaepernick was a quarterback that took a knee. He protests the anthem, and people will tell me he never protests the anthem. No, he protests the anthem and he'll protest the flag. A lot of people say he protests the anthem and he never protests the flag. His home press conference after that game said, "I cannot stand for a flag." That's his words. He said flag, not anthem, flag. But he compared the NFL to slavery. Later, look, props to Colin Kaepernick early in his career. He went to the Super Bowl. He was an awesome quarterback at the beginning of his career. Later in his career, he sucked. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it just like that. But he wants to play for the NFL now. Remember, he compared this to slavery. Why the Jets? Well, the Jets is the team that Aaron Rodgers plays for. And unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers had an injury to his calf, and he is out for the season. But now Colin Kaepernick wants to take this opportunity. After calling the NFL a slave organization, he wants to take the opportunity and play for the NFL again. Big problem, ladies and gentlemen, he's not a good player. That's why he does not play. It's nothing to do with the flag, nothing to do with all, because I promise you, yeah, he is a player that holds a lot of controversy, but the NFL, if you could play football, they probably would go ahead and get you. Okay? But at the same time, it's just a crazy, crazy thing. Senator Dianne Feinstein died. Long-time California senator, was 90 years old. She cast the vote, had to go home sick, and unfortunately, she passed away. Like I said on my TikTok, pray for her and pray for her family. Her family will need prayer because they did lose a loved one. But ladies and gentlemen, keep them in prayer. So that Dianne Feinstein, now this does bring implementation. Like when I first did the TikTok, it was just happened. I wasn't going to talk politics. It's a few days later now. Dianne Feinstein dying plays a big role in the Senate now, because remember, Democrats were calling for Bob Manzini's resignation because he took bribery cases. He took briberies to get political favors. Ladies and gentlemen, or for political favors. Same thing Joe Biden did, but nobody's called for his resignation. But ladies and gentlemen, that plays a big role now. Will you still hear for his resignation? Because if he leaves, Senator Mitch McConnell will become the Senate leader until they get another Democrat into office. Now, I don't think Gavin Newsom's going to waste too much time, because probably Chuck Schumer already called him and said, "Hey, you got somebody?" So this, her death does plays a big role, but I don't think it's going to be that major of a role. We're not going to have people up there doing all this stuff. Now, I do have a main story. These stories I do want to talk about. Biden administration issues restriction on gas furnaces in the latest war on appliances. Ladies and gentlemen, he came after your stove. He came after your heater. He came after your water heater. Now they want to go ahead and get gas furnaces out the way. Ladies and gentlemen, does he think we live in Saudi Arabia? Or does he think we live in a third world nation that the dictators can say what to do? Ladies and gentlemen, this president is trying to invoke his power on every aspect of your life. Your cars, your hot water tank, your ceiling fans. We heard that the other day. Ladies and gentlemen, President Joe Biden is not acting like a president. He's acting like a dictator. Now, we don't know, I know why, because his party's telling him to do all this, and it's green energy. In the name of green energy, they're trying to make you live pitiful. But not them. The White House probably has top of the art everything. Oh, the White House don't have gas. Well, I understand it, but they got top of the art everything. It's funny how the president pushing these EVs, but he hasn't told the Secret Service, "Hey, put EVs for me on my Secret Service detail." It's just funny. It's also funny how he's fighting gun registration. They have an article the other day talking about how he He's trying to put gun restrictions. He started this new White House, I guess, think tank or whatever, some type of some type of committee that's going to look at gun violence, and they're going to take resources from other agencies. Ladies and gentlemen, it's funny how the president wants to do that for the people of the United States, but he won't tell his Secret Service agents, I don't believe in guns. You need to keep your guns off of you. You never hear any president say that. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the hypocrisy in all this. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to HairClub. In America, hair loss is a problem for most adults. 60% of men will have to deal with hair loss by the age of 50. And 50% of women will experience hair loss in their lifetime. Now, some people may not be worried about their receding hairline, but if you are, I want to tell you about HairClub. HairClub has 40 years dedicated to restoring hair and rebuilding confidence. They have over 650 expert consultants and 120 locations across America. Big company, ladies and gentlemen, to help you on your journey to stop your hair loss. If you would like to see what HairClub can do for you, go to the description of this video and hit the link to their website and schedule an appointment with one of their consultants and get what you need to restore your hair. Remember to use the promo code BGSmedia10 at checkout to get 10% off the price. So ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and check out another great affiliate with us, a new partner, HairClub. They are brand new partners. Go ahead and check them out. All right, so let's continue with our stories. Ladies and gentlemen, the impeachment inquiry started this week, and ladies and gentlemen, it was a show. All right, we have evidence that President Joe Biden knew about his family dealings. Remember when this first started coming out? It was the president did not know anything about Hunter Biden's business dealings. He didn't even talk to Hunter Biden. Then all of a sudden, the story started to change to where now we have this impeachment inquiry starting out. And it had some key witnesses. And ladies and gentlemen, it's funny how the Democrats are doing this impeachment inquiry. They're acting like this is the impeachment trial, which it isn't. Normally, impeachment inquiries do go to impeachments on the Senate floor. It happens. But this might change. Look, if there's no evidence against Joe Biden, the Democrats need to prove that there was no evidence, or what the evidence that the Republican Party says they have. Biden and his team of lawyers have to prove that they're looking at the evidence wrong, or it's a political witch hunt. That's how this needs to go, because this impeachment inquiry needs to be done like this. Now, Hunter Biden and his father, Hunter Biden and James Biden, Joe Biden's brothers, bank records have been subpoenaed at the end of this impeachment inquiry. James Comey went ahead and announced those subpoenas right after his closing statements. But ladies and gentlemen, it was, like I said, watching this or seeing what was going on, it was funny how the Democrats went into this impeachment inquiry. First off, coming from the Daily Wire, James Comey did a great job in breaking down the key arguments of the Democrats. During his closing arguments, Comey said Democrats focused on arguing against impeachment Biden at a time when the inquiry is at an early stage and investigations are still gathering evidence that could later support the articles of impeachment. Now, before I read on, let me finish reading. My Democrat colleagues have used this hearing to talk about impeachment, not an inquiry, but actual articles of impeachment. We aren't talking about impeachment today, and they know that, Comey said. Unlike Democrat investigators, this committee under my leadership does not launch investigations based on predetermined conclusions. He added, we have entered an impeachment inquiry because as of our witnesses have testified, the evidence justifies that this is how an investigation is supposed to work. Why did he say that? Because I think he said some more. No, that was the end of his statement. Why did he say this? Well, because if you remember the Trump impeachments, especially the first one, the second one, Donald Trump didn't even have an impeachment inquiry. They said, hey, he caused the insurrection. Congress, get back in here. We're having an impeachment vote. And the Republicans are like, what? Where's the inquiry? We don't need to inquire. We're going to push it. There's so much evidence, we don't need to even investigate it. That's why James Comey said this was a predetermined conclusion. The Democrats, when January 6th happened, they were already in full-blown mode to say, look, we need to find something against Donald Trump. They found something, and they went ahead and they impeached him. The first impeachment, which was Donald Trump talking to Zelensky and asking Zelensky for some help onto an investigation, they said it was a quick pro quo. Impeach the president because of a phone call. When the impeachment inquiries happened, the Republicans try to go into the room to hear the hearing, and guess what? The Democrats locked the doors. And what was their argument? Well, this is our impeachment inquiry. We are investigating Donald Trump. They already determined that Donald Trump was guilty for just making a phone call and asking a president for help on an investigation. So that's why Joe Comey said, hey, predetermined. And also, he did throw a shot at them by saying, hey, you know, this is how an investigation is supposed to happen with y'all guys in the room and the Republicans being in the room, and we're talking and we're investigating together. That's how an impeachment inquiry is supposed to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, and look, Jamie Raskin, the guy, and this was one of the, I think he was the chief impeacher, whatever. I guess the name forgets me the terminology that he uses, but Jamie Raskin was one of them that pushed one of the impeachments of Donald Trump. Now, and look, like James Comey said, this is an investigation. We might talk about an impeachment down the road. We don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, he went ahead and why did he make this statement as well? Well, because the Democrats in this whole hearing were not talking about what they weren't asking the questions to the witnesses. You know what they were trying to do? Trying to switch this impeachment inquiry and focus on Donald Trump. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This comes from Fox News. Democrats seek to switch Biden impeachment inquiry hearing focus to Trump. Democrats on House Oversight Committee reportedly sought to focus the attention on former President Donald Trump during the Republican-led impeachment inquiry hearing on President Biden on Thursday. The committee led by Chairman James Comey, we talked about him earlier, held its first impeachment inquiry public hearing where members presented evidence uncovering the dates as part of their investigation into the Biden family business dealings while extreming the values of the inquiry. Committee Democrats reportedly accused Republicans of taking cues from Trump in launching the inquiry and used the opportunity to highlight the former president's merit legal issues. This is a few of some of the Democrats' quotes. President Trump has gone on his social media account and said we should be impeaching President Biden. Ranking member Jamie Raskin said in an opening statement, Kevin McCarthy said we have an impeachment inquiry. You draw the conclusion directly or indirectly. This impeachment inquiry was the result of President Trump's pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, what about the Trump impeachments? Nancy Pelosi would think that he clipped his toenails wrong. She was pushing impeachment. It's scandalous to use impeachment to establish a counterfeit moral equivalent between President Biden, a honorable public servant who has never been indicted or convicted of anything in his career of more than 50 years in public service, Ratchkey continued, and Donald Trump, a twice impeached president on false claims, things that have never been proven. Ladies and gentlemen, and also things that were not done in order. Jamie Raskin forgot to say that. Who has recently found in court to have sexual abuse and defamed a woman who frankly inflated the value of his real estate properties while facing 91 criminal counts in 4 separate indictments on everything from conspiracy to overthrow an election and to defend the American people, to making criminal hush money payments, to stealing classified government documents and handing them and holding them while obstructing justice. That was Jamie Raskin's view of what he tried to switch it on. Gary Conley accused the Republicans of trying to distract and deflect before launching into a guessing game with the only Democrat-appointed witness, law professor Michael Goro, in which he insisted Biden's name for Trump in order to try to illustrate that Trump, not Biden, should be investigated. So, ladies and gentlemen, when all else failed, blame Donald Trump. That is the Democrats' motto right now. One Republican, I can't remember the lady's name, but she said, it's funny how Donald Trump lives in your brain rent free. He lives in your thinking rent free. So, ladies and gentlemen, these Democrats know that there's something there. Remember, these are the same people just three years ago would say whistleblowers their name could not even be said because it would violate whistleblower call. Whistleblowers, testimonies. Ladies and gentlemen, it's funny how they're trying to turn, and like I said, when all else fails, blame Trump. That's the Democrats' model right now. And ladies and gentlemen, they don't want to ask the questions, or they don't want to go ahead and really talk about the things like a $260,000 check or $260,000 in Chinese wires to Hunter Biden's listed Joe Biden's home as a benefactor address. Don't you think Joe Biden is looking at his mail? Ladies and gentlemen, it went to Joe Biden's home. And Joe Biden says he don't know, but the Democrats don't want to focus on the evidence. They just want to go ahead and blame Trump, or they want to go ahead and do like Jamie Raskin did stupid. He wanted to call Rudy Giuliani and a few other people into the hearing. He moved a motion. Yeah, he put a motion to bring Rudy Giuliani into an impeachment hearing. Why? Rudy Giuliani ain't on trial. Donald Trump ain't even on impeachment. See, that's what I don't understand. These people are blaming Donald Trump and trying to switch it back to Donald Trump when it's not even Donald Trump's the main focus. Donald Trump's already got their focus on 4 impeachments. Not 4 impeachments, 2 impeachments. He had their focus on 2 impeachments and his 4 indictments. But ladies and gentlemen, when all else fails, the Democrat Party goes ahead and blames Donald Trump. And it's just bizarre to me that just 2 years ago, Democrats wouldn't even let Republicans in. But now the Republicans are trying to do right, and these Democrats are trying to disprove these impeachment inquiries instead of looking at it to say, look, why you not even arguing? See, that's another thing too. Not even arguing these claims away. They're not saying, well, look, we have evidence that Joe Biden didn't do this stuff, and here's the evidence. And asking the witnesses, trying to prove that Joe Biden is not guilty. Nope, they just go ahead and blame Donald Trump. Because, ladies and gentlemen, all the evidence that we've seen so far, like I said, look, Biden is not guilty until he faces his impeachment trial. But, ladies and gentlemen, all the evidence we've seen, he should have been impeached 2 years ago when all this stuff started coming out. But the Republicans are trying to do right, because government was meant to be slow. But ladies and gentlemen, with all this evidence, and the Democrats are so focused on Donald Trump, trying to get Donald Trump out of the White House. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take our break. We have a guest on the third segment. I forgot to mention it on the third segment. I forgot to mention it on the first segment, but I want to mention it here. We got Mr. Elbert Guillory. He's running for lieutenant governor here in the great state of Louisiana. Our second time visiting with him on the podcast. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back in a few moments. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Let me tell you what I will do if you make me your lieutenant governor. First, I'm going to address the crime problem. We have to reduce crime in our major cities, particularly in New Orleans, but all across Louisiana. We must reduce the crime. The second thing that I will do differently is that I will sell all of Louisiana. Our state is wonderful, it's beautiful. North Louisiana is unique. Central Louisiana, unique. Cajun country, absolutely unique. All of Louisiana must be sold to the tourists of the world. The third thing that I will do is I will have a legislative staff, just as I had when I was a state representative and a state senator. And we will find common sense solutions to the major problems of Louisiana. And we have so many problems, like the high crime, like the rotten education system that our children are languishing in, too many bad roads and too few decent paying jobs. Those are the kinds of problems that I will address. I will not be a party boy. Well, I'll do a little partying when I'm selling Louisiana to the tourists of the world, but when the party's over, I'll be able to roll up my sleeves and get to the serious business of addressing the problems of Louisiana and Louisiana's people. Those are the things that I will do if you make me your Lieutenant Governor.
White-collar criminals to violent crime, Marty Maley has prosecuted it all. A professional criminal prosecutor, not a politician. A statewide leader among professional prosecutors. An instructor for local law enforcement and police officers. Marty Maley cares. He's the leader of an early intervention program to keep children out of crime and jail. An attitude of service, a heart for people. Marty Maley, Attorney General.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment of the Cajun Conservative Show. Today, as advertised in earlier segments, we have our good friend, Mr. Elbert Guillory, in with us today for this third segment. This is the second time he has been on, and I hope many more after this election and all. But, Mr. Guillory, welcome back to the Cajun Conservative Show. How you doing?
Doing well. It's great to be back here with you and with your audience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're always happy to have you in the, you're an uplifting person. When I go ahead and I meet you at events and stuff, you're not shy. You don't run away from me. You come to me. So that's rare in my profession. But you always lift me up. You always talk to us about the show, and we always talk about your race. So it's an honor and a privilege to have you back in the studio.
The privilege is mine to see a young man who is godly and conservative. Your values are American values, and we're brothers.
Yep, we are.
Well, I'm the older brother, but
a little older than me, just a little bit. How's the campaign going?
Going very well, very well. We are all over Louisiana all the time. I put a lot of miles on. We're coming up in the last 18 months, coming up on about 100,000 miles.
Wow, man, you've been traveling the state. Now, what parts of the? I know you've been all over, but. More up north, more down here. Well, what's your target area for voters?
Oh, every place.
Every place.
Every corner. I mean, we've been to places that I can't even remember all the names of little towns that are all over the place. But North Louisiana, Central Louisiana, down by the Gulf of Mexico.
All over.
Yes, indeed.
And you've been to Pat's a few times. I know that. I've seen you over there. We were at an event a couple of weeks ago, the Bayou on the Bash.
That's right.
I was working it, but you were there to speak, and you did an excellent speech, by the way. So
thank you very much.
You and Marty, y'all some good guys to be. Y'all got some good value guys. Y'all were there speaking along with a couple of other people like John Stefanski and Stephen Wagaspack. Y'all did pretty good.
I call Marty Reverend Maley because he preaches. I mean,
I didn't know that.
He preaches in his speeches.
Oh, in his speeches, right? But as as a minister, and now you Baptist, I'm Pentecostal, but it's still the same flavor.
Absolutely.
We can't go on a microphone without preaching Jesus Christ.
We have to. That's our guiding light. That's our director.
Yes, sir. And that book, I told somebody yesterday, we was talking about praying and reading, and I said, look, and there was a younger guy. I said, hey, you watch film when you play football? He goes, oh, you have to. I said, you read the playbook? Oh, I have to. I got to know the plays. I said, well, in life, we gotta have our prayer time with the Lord. That's our watching film and reading the Bible. Hey, that's our game. That's our game plan. So when we in the game, hey, we know what to do.
That's absolutely true. I got to use that.
I'll send it to you in a text so you don't forget. So let's talk about the campaign a little bit. You're running against Billy Nungasser.
Yes.
We reached out to the Nungasser campaign. They never returned our phone calls or anything like that. We saw Billy the other day, and look, Billy's doing a good job on tourism. He is bringing some stuff, but it's funny. Every state, their lieutenant governor has a lot more responsibility. And we know with John Bell Edwards, John Bell is a Democrat, Billy's a Republican, so there might be some friction right there. But when I hear you speak and I hear you talk about the lieutenant governor's position, you want to do more than just focus on tourism. And elaborate on that a little bit, Mr. Guillory, because you talk about, legislative offices for your office of lieutenant governor, and 9 out of 10, we should have a Republican governor in there. So, let's elaborate on what you want to do more than just tourism.
I'm going to do two things different. First, I'm not just going to do tourism around the New Orleans area. Right now, when we're selling Louisiana to the rest of the world, it's basically the New Orleans Mardi Gras. There's a lot more to New Orleans than just Mardi Gras.
Right.
And I'm going to sell New Orleans. I'm going to make New Orleans a little safer also, because the crime in New Orleans is chasing people away from Louisiana, driving tourism down. Tourism is down this year for the first time in years. But I'm going to sell Cajun country, Central Louisiana, North Louisiana. There are so many wonders. If all you have to do is look. If you travel Louisiana, you will find beautiful, wonderful things in every corner of Louisiana. I'm going to sell every corner of Louisiana. But in addition to that, I can sell. I'm a country boy from Cajun country. Man, we know how to dance. We can cook. We sing. We have fun, and we can sell. People want to come to here to have fun. We will sell the fun and the beauty of Louisiana. But in addition to that, I'm going to, because of my experience as a state representative and a state senator, I know how to identify problems and draft legislation, draft bills to solve those problems. And so I'll be drafting legislation to deal with the problems of crime, the problems of bad education, the too many potholes and too few jobs that pay and support families. So I'll be in the game. I'm not going to just sit on the sideline. I'm not that kind of guy.
Can the lieutenant governor do that now?
Sure. There's nothing to prevent it. I've had 3 government attorneys take a close look at what I plan to do and what the lieutenant governor does now. And nothing prevents me from doing this. And so I will take some of my folks and assign them to legislative duties. Because I've managed state agencies in Maryland, Pennsylvania, Illinois, short time in Illinois, Seattle, Washington. My experience in government spans years and years. Being a good manager, I can go in there and find some fat, and I'll make it work a little bit better. But there'll be enough fat in that budget right now for me to have a small legislative staff. And all I need is about 3 or 4 legislative workers. Then we'll be able to raise some sand in the name of the Lord.
Amen. Amen. Now, got a question on that because, we did, like I said, I heard Billy speak the other day, and I didn't get a chance to talk to Mr. Nungasser. But, you were talking about these things at the speech we were at, and the first thing he came up was saying that tourism is good. We have he done a lot. And look, like I said, I'm not going to go ahead and deny his accomplishments as lieutenant governor in that span. But, my feeling is that you could do a lot more with that position. And, to my knowledge, you never attacked Billy Nungasser. You have acknowledged his accomplishments, but you think there could be more. And, Mr. Guillory, I don't want to call Billy Nungasser part of the Good Old Boy Network. Like I said, I never met the man. I would love to meet him. But, it's always like that. Louisiana's like, well, a lot of politicians say, well, Louisiana's good. Yeah, we know we can do better, but we're all right. We're comfortable in that. And I don't like that.
We have to have change. If you look at Louisiana now, you can't be satisfied with what we're doing.
No.
We have to have bold, new leadership. And I'm 79 years old. I'm not here for the long haul. I'm not looking for a career. I've had my careers. The only thing I want is 4 years so that I can make some specific changes, because we can do better. We've got to do better.
Do you see maybe, and look, on that note, maybe Billy wants to do something, but because of the governor, 'cause like we said, 9 out of 10, we should have a Republican or at least an independent governor in the office coming forward.
Well, Billy and the present governor have gotten along very well. They don't have friction between them. They've worked well together. But I can work well across the lines of party, of race, of whatever lines they are. I don't play that kind of politics. I have to go and get the job done, and I'm just not satisfied with the Louisiana that we have today.
So going forward, we have you voted today as we recorded Saturday. You went ahead and early vote. Saturday started the early voting process that runs until the 6th of October. And then we have we have one more week until election day. So we have 2 weeks to this election. You already told me you're planning on still traveling these last 2 weeks, which you have to do. What, going forward, how the campaign, what's the campaign doing to get more voters out there? 'Cause I'm seeing a lot of your signs out there, especially in the Lafayette area.
I have crews in North Louisiana today putting out signs, but I'm going to tell you a secret. You will be the first to know this, to have this information.
This is breaking news on the podcast
This
right
is
now.
breaking news.
Hey.
We are going to have we have an airplane and a pilot. We're going to do an old-fashioned barnstorming tour of Louisiana.
Wow.
In one day. We will hit Lake Charles, Shreveport, Monroe, Alexandria, Baton Rouge, Lafayette.
Wow.
We're going to fly the state on just an old-fashioned barnstorming tour.
And that's happening this week, or that's happening in a couple of days?
It'll be during the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
We haven't chosen the date yet, but we'll know
got
that.
you.
As soon as I know it, I'm going to call you and let you know.
Let me know. Yeah, we if you're around, we'd like to go hang out with you for a little bit.
Definitely. I definitely want you at least one of those stops.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. And, Mr. Guillory, you said something earlier, and I like how you said that. You said that it's time for a change. We thought, we've talked to Mr. Wagaspack. We're planning on having him on. We talked to a few other candidates. They wanted to come on, schedule conflicts and stuff like that. But, nothing against the Republican candidates. I think we need to go ahead and attack the Democrat Party because their policies have failed us the last 8 years. And I'm going to call his nickname the way we call it, Pothole Wilson. Is he might think he's qualified, but he's not qualified to be a governor of Louisiana. Jeff, Wags, John, Sherritt, even Hunter Lundy has a lot more qualifications to be governor. So going forward, like the last 2 weeks, it is expected probably going to be Wilson and Jeff in the runoff. What do you see going forward in the office that if that you're going to be taking as lieutenant governor, but your ranking member, which is the governor? What do you see going forward with that race?
I do believe that Jeff Landry is probably going to be the next governor. And Jeff and I have been friends over the last 20 years. We'll be able to work together. However, if something happens and Sean Wilson is the governor, I can promise you Sean and I will be able to work together. We may not be the best of buddies today, but I can. It's about ideas and not personalities.
Yeah.
If this is a big crime, is a big problem, we have to resolve that crime. The problem of education affects every single person in Louisiana. It drives businesses away. It drives people away. 40,000 people left Louisiana last year.
Wow.
So they go somewhere else and get jobs and educate their children. So we've got to do better.
Or it goes to the point like this: the kids get educated here, then they go to another state.
Exactly.
And that's a problem too, because like TOPS, I'm not against TOPS. I think TOPS was a real good program. Did it have its issues? Yeah, but overall, it was a good tool to use for kids to get educated here. But what's sad is they use the state funding to get a degree. Then they go to Texas or they go to Arkansas and even now Mississippi. And this is the leadership of the government there. Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Greg Abbott in Texas, and I can't remember the Republican governor in Mississippi, but these states are thriving. Alabama, Florida, Georgia, they're thriving, and it's like we're that one bad blue dot in the South, and we need to do something different. And this is why, and I don't endorse a lot of candidates too much, but this is why I'm endorsing you for lieutenant governor.
Thank you.
Because you want to bring change. And look, like I said, I never met Mr. Nungatser. I think Mr. Nungatser looks like he's a real good guy, but there's a lot of people that tell me that they say, Isaac, we got a lieutenant governor that's Republican, but we see him leaning more, like you said, good friends with John Bel Edwards. That's a bad image, especially for conservatives here in Louisiana.
Billy and I have been friends for a long time, and it's one of our differences is that I'm a rock solid conservative.
Right.
I'm a hard-nosed, red-blooded, red meat conservative. And I've been that since I was a little boy. That's my mom and daddy.
Right.
And they were Democrats, but they were rock solid conservatives. And so those values, we were talking a little earlier about the American values that you have. Those are the same American values of my mom and my daddy. And that's how I was brought up. So I have to stay with that. That's one of the differences, is that I will fight for doing it the right way, the godly way, and the American way.
And that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. So election night. I did talk to your son El. We are supposed to have you on election night coverage here through virtual. But what's your plans for election night if we don't get to see you before?
I suspect that we're going to have a nice party somewhere, probably in Lafayette.
Okay.
Hopefully at Préjean's or a place like that, where we can eat some good food and have a little adult beverage every now and then and celebrate.
Right. And look, I'm booked. I wish I would. You and Blake, y'all and Blake called. Blake came here the other day, and he was like, "Man, dude, we having something at Pat's. Man, you want to come?" I was like, and I would offer to go film live there, but man, we got so many guests coming on, and we got things happening that night because we're gonna have Mr. William Wallace on. He called. He said he's gonna be on with us. We got Kelby Dago that's gonna spend some time with us. So we got some good insight into this election coming up. But on a serious note, I hope we call your name on election night that you have won lieutenant governor, because you're not. A lot of people think it's only Billy running in this race. Fox News 15 quoted that he was running unopposed, and I'm like, well, that's some bad journalism. I'm not even a journalist, Mr. Guillory, and I knew that you and him were running. I didn't know you had 4 other candidates, I believe, in that race as well. So there's still a lot of people involved in this race. But yeah, it's gonna. I'm hoping that we at least get into a runoff at least.
Absolutely, I'm looking for a runoff between me and Billy, and at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, I expect to become the lieutenant governor, and 4 years from now, I will be able to look you in the eye and say, "This is what I did." So right now, in my freshman year, my first year, my rookie year as a state representative, I created Louisiana's reentry program for people who are incarcerated to keep them from having to come back into jails. It was such a good program that they put me in the Louisiana Justice Hall of Fame.
Wow!
And I was chosen the legislator of the year, rookie year. So I know how to get things done, and if I could do that in my first year, and I was just a rookie. Now that I'm an old head, oh.
You're not old, Mr. Guillory. You're just a recycled teenager.
Well, I have the energy of a young boy and the wisdom of an old man.
Hey,
in one body.
That's one body. You keep on going, keep on trucking. Mr. Guillory, before we close out this segment and this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, what would you like to tell your voters that are listening today? And could we also reach a national audience? If you want to say anything to the national audience while you're at it.
My country and my state are going down the toilet right now. If we don't get together and hold hands, and we have to understand that we're all in the same canoe. We can't let these bad guys separate us. They want to separate us, red from blue, black from white, poor from wealthy, from middle class. We have to. We're all in the same boat.
Yep.
When this ship sinks, we are all down there in the water. So we've got to pull together. We've got to unify. I hope that we can get God back into America, into American schools and everywhere else. Let's bring it back for America and for God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we're keeping you prayers. My dad prayed for you earlier, right when he got in here. So, we're praying that the Lord uses you and guides you. And like I said, you're going to be endorsed by the Cajun Conservative for lieutenant governor. So, I hope that's a privilege and an honor. We hand them out rarely, but we're going to hand them out to you.
I appreciate it, and it'll be on my Facebook page this afternoon.
Hey, if y'all need some pictures, let me know.
Thank you.
Mr. Guillory, thank you for coming again, and hope that we'll hear from you on election night, and we'll hope it's a victory speech that we hear from you.
Absolutely. For us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was Mr. Elbert Guillory. He is running for the lieutenant governor's seat here in Louisiana against Billy Nungester and a couple of other candidates. So go ahead and check out Mr. Guillory's website, Facebook page. And if you want to vote for him, see how you can help him out and volunteer on that end. Hey, give some money. They need money. So every politician needs money. So go ahead and help them out. With that being said, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. Remember that Jesus Christ is King. He's coming back, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. If you want to know Jesus, your Lord and Savior, reach out to me at thecajunconservative5@gmail.com, and I will send you an email back telling you how to make Jesus your Savior in heaven your home. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged, and always remember to subscribe, follow, and tell a friend. You have a good one. Be blessed, be encouraged.
Jesus Christ has risen, and he is the open door.